Dream a little dream of me. Welcome kindreds, it's Jessica, and this video is going to be a comparison of the new illustrated Herbiary collectible box set edition and the original illustrated Herbiary by Maia. I bought this one a while back now, and just looking at it now, it's a little bit grubby. I do use it a lot, this book. I bought it secondhand off a lovely seller in a Facebook group that I'm in a tarot Facebook group. And when it came, she had already taken the cards out and had made this beautiful little pouch to keep the cards in. So that works brilliantly well. But I was excited to see that they'd released this collectible box set edition of the Herbiary, because the cards with the original Herbiary were not fantastic quality, so I'm going to be interested to see what they're like in here. It's, as far as I know, it's going to be exactly the same book, and the cards are going to be the same, apart from it says includes hardcover book, deluxe oracle card set, and carrying pouch. So yeah, I'm interested to see what is in there. I should just say that I was sent this from the publisher as a kind of review copy, but that is not, there was no like strings attached. So I'll be sharing my honest opinion on this. I have recently done a review of the bestiary, of the illustrated bestiary, which is her newer book, which at the moment is only in this edition with the cards kind of tucked into the little pocket in the back of the book. I'm hoping that if this is lovely, then they will all come out in this kind of collectible box set edition. This seems to make more sense for a book which comes with cards, to me anyway. As a person who uses cards a lot, I would expect a little bit more from the cards than the ones that came with the original book. So let me just show you them first in case you haven't seen it. If you watch my channel, you probably would have seen this a fair few times, because it is something that I do use quite a lot. I love it. There are only 36 cards in the selection, but the way that the cards are written about is absolutely resonant for me. And I'll just have a very quick flick through the Herbiary. And the bestiary, which I've just showed, follows a very similar pattern. Here we go. So it's got like the introduction, a little bit about it, and then the actual Herbiary itself starts, which then follows this pattern of having this is the same images as on the card, but in like a massive version, which I love, because I love being able to look at all the details in the card. And then a little bit of an introduction to the actual plant. And these are kind of more cosmic style introductions, they really talk about the essence of the plant and the signature and what it really means. It's kind of resonance, and so I love how she talks about those. And then a ritual and a reflection, and that is the same then pattern for each of the 36 cards as you go through this. And like I said, this is not like going to be a proper flick through of both books, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same. So I'll just very quickly move towards the back and just show you what is at the back of this book. So there's smaller versions of the cards at the back, and then thank yous, a little bit about Maia, and this pocket, which this is where the cards were. So the cards came tucked inside here, except like I said, when I had them, they were already in this pouch, but they were kind of fixed together like this. A bit like, like when you get cards out of like cereal packets and stuff, it's that kind of thing. So they were like lightly fastened together, and then you just had to break them apart. And you can still see on the edges of some of the cards, let me turn the whole lot up to you, that hopefully you can still see there's a very slight little kind of knobble there on the cards from where they're separated, and they're quite thin and they're quite small. So I'm interested to see, like I said, I think the book is going to be exactly the same in the new edition, but I'm interested to see whether the cards are the same. So let's put those back in this beautiful little pouch and pop that to one side and have a look at So this is the new edition. It is obviously bigger than this because presumably the book is the same inside. I'm going to take the cellophane off. Sometimes as well this stuff can be recycled with carrier bags, so it's definitely worth looking into that, but quite sometimes it can't. Different films and plastics are a bit of a nightmare, so we put that over there out of the way. So this feels really kind of chunky and good quality. Filled with magic, myth and tantalizing bits of wisdom, this may just be one of the most delightful and original herbals ever written. And like I said, I really love this. I do really love this herbiary, so I was really excited to see that it was coming out in this special edition. Let's slide it open. And sometimes these kind of boxes can be a bit stiff. The first few times you open them, they tend to get a bit less stiff the more that you do it. There we go. So that is the top of the box. And then it's got a nice little ribbon so that you can ease out your book, which, yes, looks just in a lot better condition, if I can get it out, than my original book. But it is exactly the same. I'm pretty sure that it is, literally is exactly the same book. Yeah, it's exactly the same. So this, it might be, I think the paper actually, this feels a little bit more matte than this. But sometimes it can just be because you've been using it for a while, isn't it? And it, yeah, I would say it does feel a little bit more matte. And obviously there is not the pocket at the back because there's no need for the cards to be in there because the cards are in the box. So here is the pouch, which is just a very kind of basic satiny pouch. And yes, they are bigger. Okay, so here are the cards. I will just get into them. And they are gilded on the edge as well, which I'm probably going to ruin now when I'm trying to get into it. They are quite substantially bigger. Let me show you the gilding. So they're gilded on the edge, which some people love and some people don't like because it does tend to get chipped. It, you know, if you're not using them, then obviously that's fine. But if you do use them, then they're quite sticky at the moment because of the gilding. I find that with gilded decks, that quite often it takes a little while of kind of separating them out before they start to move. And they are much thicker, better quality cards. And it's just like in a little display box there, so you'll be able to pop them in the pouch. Probably they might even fit in the pouch in the, let's try that. So you could keep them in the pouch in there, and you can probably still pop your book on top. I very rarely keep these boxes because I find like it's just too much faff of like getting everything out. So it was mainly, from my point of view, it was mainly for the quality of the cards. Also, I think this version would make a very, very nice gift because it is really beautifully presented, and it's not that expensive. Like compared to some of the cards and decks and things, I think this is like £21, so it's not horrendously expensive. Let's compare the cards. So yeah, I think I probably just had mine out in the sun a little bit too much as well, so that it's a little bit faded. So this looks a little bit darker on the front, but like I say, apart from that, I think the books are exactly the same. The cards obviously not exactly the same. Significantly smaller. Let's see if I can find the same. Let's see if I can find forbidden fruit. It's always the last one, and when you're going through it. So you can probably hear as I'm putting these down that these are quite a bit thinner, which I don't actually mind. I find that thin cards, in fact, I prefer cards on the slightly thinner side. I find it makes them easier to use, but I sometimes find with the really thick cards it makes them quite difficult to shuffle and to use them, but that's kind of comes down to personal preference, so you'll have to see what you think about that. So there we go. That is the original, from the original set, and this is the one from the new set. I'm having to film with artificial light, I'm sorry, so it is kind of bouncing off that, not too great. So let's have a look size-wise. So you can see it's quite significantly larger than new cards, which I know some people are going to really love. And I think some people probably will decide to kind of upgrade to this version because the cards are that bit more, just better quality. It was like the only complaint people had about this deck that I saw anyway on like social media and on YouTube and things like that, was that the book was amazing, the descriptions and the rituals and suggestions were all amazing, but the cards were just a little bit letting it down. And I feel like that was because it was kind of coming from a place where the book was actually the most important part and the cards were almost like secondary to the book. But you know, with a lot of people interested in like tarot and oracle cards and things like that, the quality of the cards has become something that people do really look for. And so I think by addressing that with this new version, I think it will reach more people. These are going to be so difficult to shuffle. I'm going to have to go through and like literally separate each one. The other thing I'm noticing is that it's got the page numbers on the card. It doesn't have those on the original ones, and I've noticed on the newer the edition of the bestiary that's just come out, it has got them even on the bestiary. So that's interesting. It makes it much easier to find what you're looking for. So yeah, they're going to need to literally be like separated out one at a time because of the way they've kind of stuck together from the gilding. Quite often once you get going with them, then it's funny, like, you know, cards, I've seen these cards so many times because I've used this deck a lot, and yet seeing them in this like bigger format, obviously not as big as the format inside the book because they are really huge, but still seeing them like this, you do see other things in the cards, so that's really interesting as well. So yeah, is that just one? It's going to take me a while to get through all of these and separate them out and then see if we can shuffle. And for my hands are quite small, so I will need to shuffle these probably like long-wise because otherwise I won't be able to do it because the cards are so big. But that is very common for me with oracle cards. These are much more like on a par. Let me think what sort of deck. You know, it's kind of on a par with how lots of oracle decks are, I guess. Some of the bigger oracle decks are definitely bigger than your standard kind of tarot cards. I've got a tarot card there for kind of comparison. So they're the same sort of height, a little bit taller than the tarot card, but they're obviously fatter as well, they're wider. So yeah, they are quite big. You can see in comparison with the book that they are quite big. And yeah, so it'll depend on whether you want that, whether the cards are more important to you than the book, you know. Obviously you get the same book with both, so you're not losing out on the book if you decide to go for the more expensive box set option. I don't know if I already said this actually in this video. I mentioned it when I was filming the bestiary video that I did contact Maia and ask her, is there going to be a collectible box set edition of, she's going to have 3 books eventually. It's going to be the Herbiary, the bestiary, and a crystal book, a lapidary as well. And she said she hopes so, but that at the moment there is nothing confirmed for that. So I got sent the bestiary, so oh god, I'm dropping it on the floor. I got sent the bestiary, so I do have the kind of the standard edition of that, but I think if I didn't, I might have been tempted to hang on and see if they do bring out this kind of collector's edition. So let's try shuffling these now that I've slightly separated them. Okay, so they are shuffling okay actually. Yeah, they feel quite nice, and they'll just get easier and easier as you know as I use them. Okay, so dandelion on the top there. So yeah, I just wanted to do that kind of side-by-side comparison so that you could see the difference, and the light is shining really badly on there now. You could see the kind of similarities and differences with the 2 different editions, and like I think this would make a really lovely gift for somebody, more so than just the book with the cards in the back. And I think, but yeah, you know, horses for courses, pros and cons. So I just wanted to show them so that people could make their own minds up and see what they thought about whether they would need, you know, whether they would like the deluxe edition. Let me make sure, what is it called? The collectible box set edition, or whether just the kind of general, which when it comes literally just looks like this, because the cards are just all flat inside the back as well. So yeah, I'll have to see. I think what I'm going to do is actually keep this one for my daughter, and she can, and I think I'm going to use this one. But we shall see, we will see. Thank you very much for watching. Warmest blessings, and I will see you very soon.